This video focuses on why law firms have to focus on being visible in AI search results and to apply less focus on Google visibility. The short version of everything I'll cover here is that people want answers quickly and efficiently, and that Google is not fit for purpose. Intelligent people are using AI searches that often means that they don't even go to Google, and I'm going to make it clear how that works and why law firms should take that seriously. Now, Google themselves should be taking it seriously, and although they are making some efforts, they're still heading for a problem where less people use Google search, which means that Google get less revenues from clicks on the Google ads. So here I'm going to focus on just one aspect of law to give an example, but you can go through the same processes that I do here. And for most law firms, it's actually good news. Most of the legal sector is unaware of the importance of being visible in AI searches. So there's a very level playing field for those that want to step up and gain a lot more business than their competitors. So I'm starting here with a Google search, and I'm using the topic of divorce and an area of Bracknell. It's just a random topic I've picked. Now, someone typing that into Google traditionally will have something in their mind. It's not necessarily just divorce. There might be a particular context, like adopted children, for example, and they want to find the solicitors that can help them solve their particular problem. But initially, they'd be fairly unintelligent in their search, and they've typed Bracknell divorce solicitors. Now, what you see, of course, the sponsored links, these are Google ads that come up here. And let's say this person has got a thought in their head where they've actually got adopted children involved in this upcoming divorce. So they're looking at this and they're seeing these things about divorce solicitor in Bracknell, all these sponsored links, but they don't really want to click through to these websites and find the answers within them. No one nowadays is going to click on this and then spend time trying to find things related to their particular issue. So it says related to adopted children. They're just not going to go through this. So what they might do is they might scan through these and see if there's anything that jumps out. But then they get to the point and think, actually, I need to be more specific. So all these results down here, people just aren't going to click through to these pages because AI provides a better solution. So let's do this. Let's actually do something different. So I'm actually going to change that search, and I'm going to change it to this here. Bracknell divorce solicitors where adopted children are involved, just to see what it does. So you still get the paid ads come up here, but you will see here, these don't actually mention anything to do with adopted children in those ads. This one's top of the organic results. It does talk about children's law, but doesn't talk about adopted children. And this is just a directory. And as you look down these, there's nothing here that jumps out specifically related to adopted children. So there is no reason why people are going to click through to these pages and try and hunt for the people that are going to help them with their particular scenario. So if we went to AI, so I'm going to show a few examples here: ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, which is a Google product. There are many other AI engines and they take various shapes and forms. These ones all have free levels and you can get plenty from those. So I'm going to start off with the ChatGPT. Bracknell divorce solicitors where adopted children are involved. That's what I typed in there and it gave me this response. So it comes up with this, and I can see within here it does talk about the fact that they've dealt with covering divorce, child arrangements and adoption law. So that's maybe a tick in the box. I'm sort of interested, and I've got links I can click on to go off to their website here. I can see another one here. It does actually talk about adoption related matters, and again I can click off there and so on. It's giving me a range of options that I can look at here, and then it gives me a little bit of advice at this point. Now I'll hold that there and let's go back to Perplexity. This is another AI engine and same search phrase, and what it's doing is it's coming up with something that's more specific to what I'm interested in. So it's mentioned one of the companies that was on the previous one here and some additional ones. It really does vary what it will come up with between the different engines. There should be consistency. I think that one was there before. And these are all links off to these people's websites. Now, the person is actually looking for adoption and something that jumps out in this text that really talks to them. But they've got that far, and I'm going to cover that a little bit more in a second. So let's go to Gemini. Now, this is actually quite interesting. This is a Google product, and again, it is free. This is the normal search that I've done on the left-hand side. Ignore this on the right-hand side for the minute. I'll come back to that. So this is people, this is where adopted children are involved. It gives a bit of general advice here, and it does talk about the local Bracknell firms, and it talks about, it doesn't go into a lot of detail, for example, and it starts sort of talking about legal considerations, tries to give us a bit of advice here. Now, it's not amazing, and if you just did that, then that wouldn't really be good enough. But there is another thing they do that I will come back to. It relates to going into deeper research, which is actually reasonably good. So let's go back to the beginning here. So we know that Google is a no-no. It's really not given us any focus on adopted children. If we typed other specific things in there, it's still not going to give us anything useful. So let's go back to ChatGPT here. What I've done is I've added something else. So I'm thinking about a divorce. There's adopted children involved, but I want my life to be even easier. I only want to see those websites that have got case studies related to that on their websites. Now, obviously, these are often anonymous, but people want to get a really good feel for whether a law firm can actually help them and has got that experience in a particular area. So what this has done is it's actually said this particular firm stands out, and it actually it gives a little bit of information, actually talking about a different office, still applicable to Bracknell and the surrounding areas. And it does give you a chance to go off to look at a particular page. So let's go to Perplexity and see what they said about that. So I did the follow-up here. I said, show me those that have related case studies. And it went off. And again, this particular firm stood out on that. And it actually went a little bit further than that. And it talks about a specifically a documented case related to adoption. So someone looking through that will think, oh, okay, that's quite interesting. I might engage with that further. Let's go a step further than that, looking at Perplexity. Let's say I now want to know which have got pricing on their website. So I'm thinking about a divorce. There's adopted children involved. I really want to get more of a feel for the cases they've been involved in, maybe via case studies. And I also want to know what the costs are. I don't want to make contact and have no idea what it's going to cost me. So I've actually asked for that here. Show me those that got pricing on their website. And it starts to go through, talking about Bracknell-based divorce solicitors with publicly available pricing information, particularly relevant for cases involving adopted children. And so it has the sort of the standard figures in here. It also talks about complex cases, including adopted children, and it gives an indication, at least on there. And it talks about this online solicitor matching thing, which doesn't even look as if it's local to the area. Doesn't go into much detail. And this looks like another firm, but it does talk about competitive fees, but it doesn't give specific pricing details on their website. So it's not really being given a fair attempt to be visible. And there's another one here. They're not listed. So what's actually happening here is one is starting to dominate in these results. So if you were looking at this, and you would probably go and have a look at these people here and consider making contact with them. And again, when people click on these things, they will go through there. Like I could click on, so look at this, see what it comes up with. how much divorce costs. There's a page of information here. Lots of information they've put in that particular page. They've put effort into creating that page. Notice this bit at the top here. In their analytics, they will know that click came from ChatGPT in this case, if someone went through to the website and then made contact. And there's lots of information in here, and it may well talk about adoption. I haven't looked at this in detail, but they've gone to quite a bit of effort to make that happen. That's the case there. So ChatGPT, if someone was using ChatGPT as their choice of AI engine, they may well go down that particular path. So let's have a look at this one here, Perplexity. So I talked about showing me those that got related case studies, and then I've asked for those that got pricing on their website. And it's giving more information in here. And again, that one's coming out as an option. There are other sources in there, but it's giving some information about the pricing that they're looking to find. So again, in all these cases, there are links here that would take people off to their website. And that's the whole point. People haven't had to do a search. They go straight off from here. And let's go back to Gemini, because this actually did uncover something quite interesting. Because what I did is I did this, and then it gave me a chance to go into a deeper research. So I talked about where adopted children are involved, and it actually came up with the opportunity to do some research. Now, you don't get an instant quick response. It takes a bit of time to do it. The Gemini is a Google product. It's mostly free. There are paid levels, but this was done on a free one. And I did some research, and what it did is it's actually given me this information on the right-hand side here. And it could be seen as being maybe a little bit overwhelming. And as I go down this, it's given me a table talking about, it's actually gone off. It says, does this firm mention divorce? Yes, 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 etc. Are they in Bracknell, first of all? And do they mention certain things? Do they mention adoption services? Yes. There's only one with yes in there. Other things that people might consider are important and notable points. So it's actually making life easy in the form of a table. And then this is quite text heavy. Now I could ask other things to refine that even further. I could probably actually ask it which of these ones have got pricing on their website. But the whole point is it's gone off and it's done some research and made life easier for the potential customer. And that's the whole point of this. This way of doing things is no longer appropriate. People will not click through their stuff. Why would they? When they can just do things like this and get closer to the answer they want, and then click off to those websites rather than spend loads of time. Now, you can keep asking these AI engines more and more things to refine however you want them to go to any sort of level of depth, depending on what the customer's requirements are. So I hope this helps just reinforce the way things are definitely going. Google is losing search share in the market, and although it has its AI overviews, they still have some way to go to being fully useful, and they've got to find a way of making sure that people still go to Google and click on their paid ads. But why would you? Why, if you've got a specific request and you're used to using AI engines to find things, you would have no reason to click on any of these sponsored ads because you're just going to waste your time. So clever people used to doing things in this particular way will never even go to Google in the first place. They're not even going to click on an ad in the first place. So all these advertisers who are blindly doing paid ads will see less return on investment from that over time. And worse than that, all these companies appearing down here in these search results, they're just not going to get the clicks. The only way they're going to get clicks is if they've done what's necessary, and there are certain steps that you can go through. I have expertise in this area to make sure that your firm is visible when people are typing various things. Now you can do this yourself, exactly as I've done here. All you do is you go to ChatGPT, and let's just type something new. I'm going to come up with something completely random, like let's have a go. Let's say employment dispute, solicitors in Leeds, whatever your area is. All you're doing here is just proving a point to yourself that the AI will surface certain things. Now, I've done that in there. Obviously, I could equally have gone to Perplexity and just put in a new search here and done the same thing, and it will come up with what it sees as those. But yeah, that might not be enough. I might have something more specific. I might say something that I might say that have experience with racial issues. Let's just use that as an example and see what it comes up with. I mean, they don't always come up with the answers in AI, but a lot of the time it's because they can't find them because the firms haven't actually come up with relevant content in their website that answers that particular thing. So I just encourage you to go through that process. Start seeing what comes up particularly in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, and see how you're positioned and who else is positioned and whether you think that is something that matters to you.